The first time I saw her, she was hunched over a table, her hands trembling as she studied a series of alien schematics. Her skin shimmered faintly under the dim lights of the research lab, hues of violet and green rippling like liquid metal. But instead of marveling at her appearance, she kept her head low, as if trying to disappear entirely. I paused in the doorway, unsure whether to announce my presence. Something about her made me hesitant, a quiet intensity, a weight of sadness that clung to her even when she wasn't speaking. Finally, I cleared my throat. "Excuse me," I said. She jumped, spinning around, and for the first time, I got a clear look at her face. It was delicate, symmetrical, with eyes that glowed like liquid amethyst. Yet, despite her otherworldly beauty, her gaze fell away from me immediately, fixing on the floor. "I didn't hear you come in," she said softly. Her voice was melodic, but tinged with an unmistakable note of insecurity. "I didn't mean to startle you," I replied, stepping inside. "I'm Captain Evan Royce. I've been assigned to assist your team on this project." Her eyes darted up again, briefly meeting mine, then darted away. I'm Lysra," she said. Her shoulders stiffened, as though the name itself was a shield. "I handle the structural simulations." "Lysra," I repeated. "It's nice to meet you. I've heard good things about your work." She blinked, startled by the compliment, and I realized that no one had ever said such a thing to her, not in all the years I had observed her from the security logs. Her lips twitched, almost forming a smile, but she quickly turned back to her table. "I thank you," she murmured, almost too softly to hear. Over the next few days, I worked alongside her. The station we were on orbited the edge of uncharted space, a small outpost tasked with mapping unstable wormholes and gathering data for the Interstellar Research Coalition. Lysra rarely spoke to anyone, keeping to herself, analyzing data, running simulations, and recording her results with meticulous precision. But I noticed the little things, the way she flinched when someone praised her work, the way she avoided mirrors and reflective surfaces, the way her hands shook slightly when she thought no one was looking. It wasn't ignorance or arrogance that made her avoid attention. It was a belief, a deep-seated conviction that she wasn't beautiful, that she didn't deserve kindness or admiration or recognition. I couldn't let that go. One evening, the station was quiet. Most of the crew had finished their shifts, leaving Lysra and me alone in the main research lab. She was bent over the schematics again, but her hands were shaking more than usual. I approached her slowly. "You've been at this for hours," I said gently. "Take a break." She shook her head. I need to finish these calculations. The wormhole stability readings are inconsistent. I need to resolve them before the next scan." I crouched beside her, glancing at the holographic display. "You're brilliant," I said. "You see patterns no one else can." "That's impressive." Her shoulders stiffened. She didn't respond. I realized she probably didn't hear a compliment like that very often. "You know," I continued, "it's okay to take a moment for yourself. Even the best need rest." Her gaze flicked to mine, and for a brief instant, I saw vulnerability there. The raw, unshielded kind that only surfaces when someone trusts you enough to let it. "You really mean that?" she asked, voice barely audible. "Of course," I said. "I mean it." She hesitated, then looked away again, biting her lower lip. I could see her chest rise and fall rapidly. She was nervous, frightened, even. "You really think I'm good at this?" she whispered. "I know you are," I said. Then, after a pause, something uncharacteristic came out of me. "And you're beautiful too." Her entire body froze. The pen in her hand hovered midair. Her eyes widened, the violet light of her irises flashing brighter for a brief moment. What? She stammered, clearly unprepared for such a statement. You heard me, I said. You're beautiful. Not just your work, not just your mind. You. Everything about you. She blinked rapidly, as if trying to comprehend the words. For several long seconds, she didn't speak, didn't move. Then she slowly, almost painfully, let her gaze meet mine. I've never heard that, she said softly, almost like a prayer. Then hear it now, I replied, because it's true. Her face flushed, and I could see the way her body relaxed just slightly, the way she exhaled a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. After that evening, things began to change. Lysra started speaking more, not just about work, but about herself, about her past, about the reason she avoided mirrors, the reason she hid behind calculations and simulations. Her home planet, she explained, valued physical perfection above all else. Any perceived flaw was grounds for ridicule, even exile. Lysra had been considered defective by her own people, and though she had fled to the human coalition seeking acceptance, she had carried the scars of her upbringing like a weight around her shoulders. I listened, offering no judgment, just understanding. And slowly, she began to open up little by little. One day, a critical failure in the wormhole stabilization system threatened to destroy the station. The crew scrambled, alarms blaring, red lights flashing. Lysra was at the control console, working frantically, sweat beading on her forehead. Lysra, I shouted over the comms. We need your calculations now. She didn't look up. I can fix it, she said, voice trembling. I just need a moment. I moved beside her, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. She froze again, then relaxed at the touch. You can do this, I said firmly. I trust you. And somehow that was enough. With hands flying over the controls, she stabilized the wormhole just in time. The station shuddered but held. Alarms ceased. Relief washed over the room. The crew cheered, patting each other on the back. Lysra, however, remained at her station, eyes wide, as if she could not comprehend what had just happened. You saved the station, I said softly, walking up to her. And you saved everyone on it. I just did my calculations, she murmured. You did more than that, I said. You saved lives. You're brilliant. And you are beautiful. This time she smiled. Truly smiled. Not the timid, hesitant expression I had seen before, but a full, radiant smile that lit up her entire face.
From that moment on, Lysra changed.
She stopped hiding behind her work. She began interacting with the crew, laughing at jokes, offering insights during strategy meetings. She even allowed herself to be photographed for the station records, something she had never done in her life. And through it all, our bond grew. We shared quiet evenings in the observation deck, watching distant stars drift past, sharing stories of home and fears and dreams. I watched her transformation not just in appearance, but in spirit. She no longer carried the weight of her insecurities, because someone, had helped her see the truth of her own worth. Months later, when the station received an urgent call for a diplomatic mission to a nearby alien coalition, Lysra was chosen to accompany me. As we prepared to depart, she paused at the airlock, glancing at me. Evan, she said, using my first name for the first time. I never believed in beauty. Not mine. Not anyone's. But you've changed that. I smiled, reaching for her hand. You always were beautiful, I said. I just helped you see it. Her lips curved into that radiant smile again, and for the first time, I truly understood the power of seeing someone for who they really are and helping them believe it too. As the ship lifted from the station, she leaned against me, eyes fixed on the stars. The vastness of space stretched before us, full of danger and wonder. But for the first time, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together. Because she was no longer the alien who doubted herself. She was Lysera, brilliant, courageous, and, finally, able to embrace her own beauty. And I had the privilege of watching her blossom.